Calf Kick Sports Podcast.
Yeah, and Tim, man, it's been a while.
Oh, hanging out, the usual stuff, man. How you doing today?
Good, man. What did you make of that fight yesterday, man? Thompson
Surreal.
versus. Yeah, that was insane, man. Do you think it's fight of the year though? Like, let's just go straight into it. Fight of the year? No?
Stephen Thompson, Kevin Holland. I think if we had what they had in the first round or first two rounds over 4 rounds, it could actually make an argument. But there's also the problem of like recency bias that we always see.
Yes.
However, like for the last 2 rounds, it was just a dude getting beat up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it made it more special that all the veterans won on that card. You know,
Yeah.
you got Clay Guida, you got Michael Johnson, you got some other names I can't think of at the moment, but you know every veteran on the card won, yeah, and it just added to the overall flavor of it, man. But
yeah,
I think Aljamain Sterling said something really, really kind of insightful, and funnily enough, this probably should have been the key for victory, for Holland. Like he needs to make this dirty and try and get him in a body lock and take him down.
Oh yeah,
and he took him down and he stood up. Like,
let him right back up. That's the thing of how to beat Stephen Thompson has been on the wall since like 2015. Like we know that this guy always struggles against wrestlers. If you just take him down, it's actually one of the like easier fights of like even non-wrestlers can out wrestle him kind of thing. But yeah, he just didn't want to tangle with it. And I think I'm as a fan, I'm entertained and I like that. I love to see it.
Yeah.
As a guy, like if you lose half your money. Is it a good call?
I mean, no, man, it's really silly because like it's almost like and I love Michael Chandler, but it's so Henry Cejudo said something, the other day about Michael Chandler. He goes, "Listen, man, you've got all the tools to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Just fight like one. Don't just try and make it all entertaining and all about action, yeah." And I feel like Kevin Holland, he went into that trap yesterday, the other day, where he just thought, look, I'm gonna make this entertaining for the fans, yeah. I'm not gonna make this a boring fight, even though Kevin Holland's ground game is very, very underrated.
Yeah.
And he decided to stand up, and that, it's like what the end goal is to be a world champion. It's not just to be an exciting fighter where you get paid some money.
The thing is that Michael Chandler though has so much goodwill at this point and he's built up, but however at the same time if he fought even 20% more defensively he would have actually beaten Charles Oliveira. He would have been
Justin Gaethje and he would have been Dustin.
Yes.
I mean, what the fuck, man?
Just a little bit more defensive and he would have got away with it. It's like he has all the tools but he brings them out at the wrong time, or he really does believe in that, like I'm not here for a long time. He really does. Yeah. He believes in that. Like he's a dorky public speaker.
Man. But he's 37 as well.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, just going back to Wonderboy's 39. He doesn't look 39. He looks great for 39. We've got fighters like Tony Ferguson that are younger than him, which is insane. And you look at Wonderboy and he looked like a world beater, man. He genuinely looked like a world beater the other night. Do you think the UFC need to give him an easier path to the title? Just be like, you're 39, man. Come on, fight some strikers.
Him and like Alistair Overeem of like how much closer could a person have been than getting a draw against the champion? I know, like a well-respected champion in a meaningful fight at a meaningful time. It was a tough welterweight division during that time as well. Of like we forget of like Johnny Hendricks in these types, Robbie Lawler in these types. It was a really good welterweight division.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now it's like a heavier wrestling division.
I know. You got Burns who can wrestle. You got Colby who can wrestle. You got Kamaru Usman who could wrestle.
Does he beat anyone in front of him? Like realistically?
I mean, damn, that's a good question. Because Thompson's the number 8th or number 9th in the world, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe Vicente Luque, I think he can beat him up again. Did he beat him up? He beat him up already, didn't he? Yeah, he did beat him up.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But no one else, man. I can't see. I think the wrestling is just too much, man, for Wonderboy at this age.
Gilbert Burns, who he just lost to. Bilal Muhammad, who I think he's already lost to. Hamzat Chimaev, he's not beating. I'm sorry. Colby Covington, he's not beating.
No way.
And then Kamaru and Leon are up at the top. But however, wait, what about Stephen Wonderboy? He's already beaten Jorge Masvidal. But yeah, him and Leon.
Do that again.
I guess so. Why not? Yeah. Nobody cared when it happened the first time. Now people actually care about Jorge Masvidal.
No, people care about Jorge Masvidal.
People didn't care back then. People really didn't care about him. But yeah, he just had like 3 really good wins, and then he was the biggest deal. But the thing is, I don't know if there's much left for Stephen Thompson's career. He's an OG, he's an old boy. He was in his prime back in the day, and I feel like his weaknesses are so present. But if you give him space and let him work like Kevin Holland was doing, he'll outstrike you. He can outstrike probably anyone in that division, no problem.
Easy.
It's a matter of the takedowns and other stuff. And when you're mixing in clinches, even Kevin Holland had fine success in the clinch, and he's not the best clincher in that entire in the top 15.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to make it a bit dirty with elbows, and
that was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That was good. But then I think he got hit a few times, and then he kind of went into this mental state where he's backing up, and it's like, you can't back up against Wonderboy, man. You can't give him space. If you give him space, you're giving him a way to win.
Yeah,
that's literally what happened. Like, he just beat the absolute piss out of him.
And Wonderboy also is so good at doing stuff like setting traps of like, I did this thing in the first round, now I'm doing this thing. I was a fake, it's kind of, and the Kevin Holland was falling for it. Kevin Holland, unfortunately, like, he had a very short retirement. The thing is, like, his strengths are actually really good. Of course, he is an exceptionally fast and strong striker. He's an amazing size for a welterweight, but his weaknesses are not just kind of weak. His weaknesses are
fight IQ as well, man.
Fight IQ, yeah.
Fight IQ. I mean, not to be horrible, I love Holland, but it almost feels like, okay, you just retired, you're coming back to fight. Why don't you just fight smart, and then win the fight? You probably get another main event slot. Like,
well, I think this was the UFC almost giving him the like, we're passing the ball to you. Thank you for fighting Hamzat on 1 day notice. We're gonna pass the ball for you to do a slam dunk now. And he was like, a main event in Florida, end of the year, an aged striker.
Just fucking strike him.
Yeah. It was like, beat him. Like, the UFC actually gave him a pretty good opportunity here. And the thing is, like, with Kevin Holland, I think he's I think he's a super cool guy, but who does he beat? And he's a cool name. He's a big fighter. He's a main event fighter and all that. But like, who does he beat?
Yeah, I think they need to slow his trajectory a little bit in the welterweight division. But now he's already had. So I heard he got $900,000, just to show for Hamzat Chimaev fight.
That's a good deal.
$900,000, That's a lot of money, man. That's good money, just to take that fight on.
Who's this guy's agent? This guy's agent is on point.
Crazy, isn't
so
it?
Good.
So So he was like, I'm retired. I'm done. Fair enough. You made more money in bonuses and all the other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you come back on a main event. Yeah, you go into a main event and you fight Wonderboy. You're probably getting paid there, good money. So it's like, how do you go from that to just not main eventing, probably getting slightly less money, and fighting a lesser name? I don't think, I think he's gonna retire again, man. Honestly,
I know. I think you're right about that. I'm just like, I think he's found his own wall. Of like, whether it's wrestling or whether it's striking with someone, I think he is mentally now found where his wall is. And I think as a professional athlete, that feeling must suck of like, I know I just can't beat these guys. And he kind of fights like it. He kind of like talks like it of like, in a million years, I'm not beating these guys. I like, if you were him, man, it makes me so sad that he knocked out Jacare from his back.
It was a good fight, yeah.
It makes me so sad.
I'm just thinking of a very good fight for him, but I don't know. So if Wonderboy and Masvidal don't work, why don't you do Masvidal versus why don't you do Masvidal versus Kevin Holland?
That it is a great fight.
That's such a fight, isn't it?
How did we not see that fight? It's so obvious, and it's such a good fight night main event. Or like, these guys would trash talk all the way onto a co-main,
and it would be respectful from Holland's side, at least. I'm assuming so.
Probably, I would get excited about that, and I would tune in. And like, they're not wrestlers against each other as well, so you're not like pissing off their main. Like, both of them are so weak to wrestlers, but neither of them would wrestle against each other. I think it would look a lot like this fight, and I think that's actually very winnable for Kevin Holland. Right?
Both of them, really, when you think about it, both of them. I think Jorge will probably take him down.
Jorge's kind of good at like, he's very good at like clinching and stuff like that. There's a few areas where I think he does have an advantage, and I think you're right. Actually, Jorge would game his way to a victory, but Kevin Holland, if you give him space to work, like, he can land hard. Like, he was actually landing on Derek Brunson really well. He landed good moments against Marvin Vettori. It's just he gets out wrestled so soundly that it doesn't mean anything. But against Masvidal, that's a great fight. That's some good matchmaking.
That is awesome, man. That is a pretty awesome fight. So we'll move on to one more thing. Yeah. I did want to talk about this. What's your thoughts on the whole Yuri Prohaska not being the light heavyweight champion, and you've got like this weird main event, yeah, between Jan Blachowicz, who lost against the guy that lost the belt,
yeah,
against Ankalaev, who is an animal. I mean, nothing to take away from Ankalaev, but what do you think of that as a title fight, man? It's a bit weird, isn't it?
And then they offered Glover, not Jan, they offered Glover Magomed Ankalaev for the title.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Yeah.
Like it's so many and all this news came out so quick. It was like 30, like it was like 15 things in 1 second. It was absolutely insane to get all that news at the same time. I mean, UFC 282 sure doesn't look that exciting, but what do you make of it? I'll let you go first, and then I'll color.
I'm not as excited because we're talking about fight of the year. You know, we're talking about fight of the year candidate, yeah. Yuri Prohaska versus Glover. Yeah, and that was literally, for me, I think that's my favorite fight of the year. It was so back and forth. I tried to score it twice, yeah, before the 5th round, and it was really, really hard to score. I actually gave Glover the edge of winning the whole fight overall by the 5th round. Yeah. But it was so back and forth. You're like, you know, this could easily be a draw, yeah, if they fought, if that 5th round was kind of a stalemate. But yeah, man, I'm not excited for this. Like, I'll be really honest with you. I'm probably not going to stay up for this one, especially they've just announced that Robbie Lawler's out the fight as well. He's out there. He's fighting Ponzinibbio and he's out. So it's another one, man.
This sucks. But yeah, the Teixeira Prohaska fight, the first one, like I just remember, I think I was traveling around, but I remember I downloaded the fight and I watched it. And then I finished it, and I went back and watched the whole fight one more time because it's actually so good.
Insane. I can't think of fight of the night contender. We might as well just cover loads of little bits here, but like fight of the year contender. Yeah,
I'll read it off. I have it up in front of me here. So it's Teixeira.
Yeah. That's
Teixeira Prohaska, which I would say yes. Burns Chimaev, banger. Moreno Figueiredo 3. Onama versus Landwehr. Schnell versus...
that was sick. That was awesome. That's like my second favorite fight of the year.
Man, is this violence? Is this violence incarnate, man? And
it's so violent, man.
So cool. Man, Nate Landwehr he's insane. And then he cuts promos in his post-fight interview.
Come on our show.
Nate. Man, he would too.
Come on our show. We'll tag him in it. We'll tag him in this clip.
Poirier Chandler, Saruki and Gamrot, Qatar Chikedze, you know, Oliveira Gaethje, maybe Font versus Vera.
I think that's the most overrated fight of the year so far.
Yeah, it was like 2 rounds.
Qatar and Giga, that was just an ass whooping in my opinion.
I don't know. That didn't scratch the itch as much as like I really like Saruki and Gamrot. That felt like it was like there was so much going on.
That was a very technical fight as well, man.
That's it. I'm just like it kind of scratched the itch. Even the controversially, Yan versus O'Malley. It was a great fight. It was a really good fight.
You know what? Yeah.
O'Malley
won that fight. Fuck all of these. I would get Tim in trouble.
Bro, I co-sign with you. I agree. Yeah, O'Malley won that fight. I co-sign with that. I have no problem saying it out loud. Based on what the judging criteria is, it's not control. We judge damage over all else. And given that criteria, yeah, Sean O'Malley won that fight. The thing is with Petr Yan has always been the same issues that we've talked about before of like, if this guy is so much better than all these people that are put in front of him, why does he keep losing razor close decisions? Like, if you are that much better than everybody, put the pedal to the metal. Push it. Yeah. Push yourself a little bit more here and prove that you're so much better than these guys.
Absolutely.
You keep losing these tight decisions, right?
Absolutely. And I don't even think the fight with Aljamain Sterling, I don't even think that should never have been a split. I feel like Aljamain Sterling won that 3 rounds to 2 all day.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
One of them being 10-8, one of them 100% being 10-8.
And he's so good in that fight. Aljo was so good.
I just don't understand, man. People are like, Petr Yan got robbed, man. Get the hell out of here.